What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. My name is Shakayla, and this is Manifesting with Karmic Side Gal. Here on my channel, I talk about manifesting the life you deserve to have, my process and journey through ascension, and of course, spirituality in general. If you have never watched any of my videos before, thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this video today, please go ahead and give me a like, and of course subscribe to the channel. Each time that you subscribe, my channel grows, which allows me to come back and make more content for you guys. You know what I'm saying? You're helping me grow, and that's all that I really want to do, is to reach more people. If you're part of the spiritual family, big hearts go out to you guys. I am so grateful, so thankful for you. I'm just cleansing the space. You guys know it is the channel message. And I haven't really used Palo Santo in a while, but I'm back on that. You know what I'm saying? Happy full moon in Libra, everybody. Today is the full moon. I'm going to try and get this up tonight so you guys can have this full moon message. Before we get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about the full moon before I jump into, actually pulling any cards or anything. So like I said, this is a full moon in the sign of Libra. Libra is all about balance. Okay. Libra is also, a sign of love and beauty. It's a sign of oppositions between yourself, the shadow and the light, balance. And this moon specifically is called the pink moon, and it's really a lot of focus on your relationships. Okay. Your relationships are really going to be highlighted at this time. Finding balance in your relationships, learning how to reciprocate, communicating more healthily, building trust within your relationships. And then, of course, this is the full moon, which is all about, releasing, all about taking a bird's eye view about everything that's going on in your life and seeing what is not working for you anymore. And just this full moon specifically, you really want to be thinking about your relationships and things like that. Okay. So before I pull any cards, just to channel some messages. So this week on my podcast, I've Got Time, we're talking about healthy coping mechanisms, right? And what do we do to relieve stress? And inside that conversation, we also talked a little bit about creating safe spaces for Black people. We also talked about friendships and relationships, and when you are finding new coping mechanisms, if those friendships, those relationships are still in alignment with who you are, this new version of yourself. Okay. So it's very important at this time right now for you to first be considering the things that you need. What do you need right now? And if your relationships are ultimately supporting you, if it's something that you can communicate through to make the relationship better, or if you've already communicated several times and at this point it's time for you to make the decision. I feel like with the sign of Libra, this is like heavy on boundaries, and something that you guys really want to understand about boundaries is that boundaries are not for other people, they're for you, and they're totally in your control. So boundaries are not going to be about how far you're going to let somebody else go, how they're going to be able to push your limits, and what it is that they're going to be able to do before you say that's enough. It's really about you having an agreement with yourself about how far you're going to go. Okay. What you're going to allow. So a boundary is about what you want to do, what you're allowing into your life, what you're okay with. It's not about the actions of other people. Boundaries are what is completely within your control. So for example, say, if I had a friend and I expressed to this friend that, now that I have grown, I really just don't have the interest to like gossip anymore or talk shit about other people. And I just really like to focus my energy on myself, like growing myself, being more positive, instead of expressing negativity towards others. And you've communicated that with this person. The last 2 times y'all talked on the phone, they still tried to bring up somebody else. They still tried to do something or come to you with some outside drama like, oh, you won't guess what so and so said about you. Well, now that you decided this is your boundary, it's up to you to decide to not engage with that person anymore, because you've already expressed that you're not doing that anymore. So it's about you not putting yourself in the position for that to continuously happen to you. It's just like, it's something like getting cheated on. Somebody might say, oh, it's not in my control whether I'm getting cheated on or not. But if you know somebody cheated on you, it's up to you to leave the situation, right? And then if you don't leave the situation and they continue to do that, that's not a choice, because you chose to stay with them after they did that to you. So your boundaries are about you. Learn to center yourself where your boundaries is, and not make it about something that somebody else is or isn't going to do. What are you going to do? What are you going to allow into your life? Spirit wants to start off this week's message with some music, okay? Let's see, Spirit, what you got going for us. Ooh, okay. So the song we got is Separated. I believe this song is by Avant. It says separation, no contact, disconnected. Okay. So already right there, Spirit is giving a message with this full moon of it's time to release some things specifically in your relationship. Okay. I posted this post, and I believe I shared it today to my story that we put, and it's like, how do you know when it's time for you to need new friends, right? And some of the reasons was like, can you communicate with them healthily? Or one or both of you guys enabling toxic behaviors? Or do they reciprocate support for you? Those was just a few of the things. So just taking the stock of in your relationships, and if people are able to do those things for you, and also like having some self-awareness in who you are being in your relationships, if you're able to do that. Okay. I feel like with Libra, there's always this hint of codependence, because Libra is like the Aquarius in a sense, but I feel like the opposition of that, where the Aquarius is going to push people away when they actually, not to say need them, but when that could be a beneficial relationship. Libra is going to hold on to somebody when it's toxic for them, okay? Because the vanity of it all. We're in a time of social media where it's like better to say, I'm still with this person, I have this family, and posting pictures, than to just leave the situation and then feel like you failed in a relationship online. You got to stop worrying about what other people have to say or think about what's going on in your life, because you're the only one who has to live in this. Fuck what other people are thinking or saying. When I decided to leave my marriage, I really didn't think about what nobody else had to say, even though I knew that, like, me and my ex-husband getting a divorce, that was going to impact all of our families. At the same time, I'm the only one who have to wake up next to this person every day. I'm the only person who have to raise my kids in this situation. And so it's me that who have to think about what it is that that I'm choosing to stay in. Okay. Okay. 6 of them. Okay. So just to show you guys what decks I'm using, I pulled the music message from the Love on the Record. This is by Crystal Banner, and I believe I got this from Kaleidodope. And then the next deck that I'm using is the Moonology Oracle cards. I pulled 6 of those, and then I'm going to clarify each of those cards with the Intuitive Heart The True Heart Intuitive, and this is by Rachel True. You guys know my girl from The Craft, and I've talked about her on a previous video before. From, what is this called? Half and Half. I absolutely love this deck. I love the energy of the deck. She has like literally a story for every major arcana. And each time I pull a major arcana, I go ahead and take that extra step to read the guidebook, because the messages just hit different with that personal story. That's why I like to include a lot of my personal stories, because it's one thing just saying something to a client, but it's another thing like actually, I'm sorry if you guys can hear my stomach, because I'm literally not hungry, but it is like going ham, right? I feel like that kind of is speaking to me though about our intuitions, and like how our intuition can be so loud, our gut can be so loud, and then we just choose to ignore it out of comfort, okay? And now the cards want to come out so quickly. Hold your horses now, one at a time, please. And when I promise you I'm not hungry, first of all, and then two, I literally just had like a whole, like 2 pieces of chocolate. Like, not to say that that's food, but like, it's no way my stomach should just be like growling. Sir, I'll take one of those. Okay. The first thing is, at the bottom of this deck, we have the Hangman in reverse, okay? So what this is saying is we're coming out of a space right now emotionally where we feel more supported, okay? We can come out of that space of having to sit alone with your thoughts, you know what I'm saying, to become enlightened. I really feel like this is spring, you know what I'm saying? We just passed the spring equinox. Easter is tomorrow. It's like we are totally enlightened right now. Nature is blossoming. Everything around us is just growing, which is causing us collectively to have a glow up, okay? So with the Hangman in reverse is saying that just enjoy the fruitfulness of right now. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the growth that you have came through at this time, and allow yourself to truly walk in that path of enlightenment. You're not who you used to be anymore, and that's okay. It's not neither a bad thing and it's not neither a good thing. It's just depending on your perspective, because there's good and bad to all things. But it's just all about being present in who you are right now, okay? Now, the first card that we have coming out is a new moon in Libra. It says a romantic cycle begins, okay? And we've got the Libra scales, of course, with the nice new moon. And the card that came out to clarify this was the Devil, okay? So I feel like when this says a new romantic cycle begins, this is all about not an actual romantic relationship, but romanticizing your life, okay? But in a healthy way. The Devil is all about, you know, like toxic behaviors that are no longer serving us, certain habits that we are keeping, even relationships that are not good for us. And this is you romanticizing your life and enjoying it for what it is, and allowing yourself to detach from the parts of yourself that are longing for that toxicity. You know, when we start to become more healthy, when we become more evolved, when we find better, healthier coping mechanisms, there's that part of us that always wants to run back to that because we've been comfortable in it so long. Change is so hard because this it's uncomfortable. You feel like, who am I right now? I don't know who I am. What am I doing? It's so much easier just to go back to the past version of who you are, to go back to those old habits. But that's why this card right here, the Hangman reverse, is coming out, because it's just saying you're not there anymore. Okay. So be present in who you are right now, and do not give in to the negativity. Do not go back, because you came so far. You fought so hard to get to where you are right now. And don't let all of the work that you put into prior to getting to this moment go to waste because you went back to that. Okay. Romanticize your life. Just start to enjoy it for what it is. Like, if you're a coffee drinker, when you get up in the morning to make coffee, make that coffee to the best of your ability. Like, make it like it's a goddamn Starbucks coffee, okay? Start to really romanticize your life. When you take a shower, really enjoy that shower. Don't just get in, wash up, and get out. Not to say that you have to take a 20-minute shower, but like, really be intentional and mindful in each moment and enjoying what is going on. Like, instead of just buying some regular ass body wash, get something that feels more luxurious. Use a loofah, get some body scrub. Make that shower romanticized. You know what I'm saying? When you on your drive to work, listen to a podcast, play some music, really make whatever moment that you're in as enjoyable as possible, and being present in that. Not in a negative way. I'm not saying romanticize the bad. I'm just saying every moment that you're enjoying, that's like practicing gratitude for it by just being fully invested in that moment. Okay. And then the next card that we have coming out is the Void of the Course Moon. This card says, nothing will come of this situation. Okay. And then what we have clarifying that is the Four of Cups. Okay. Four of Cups is having options available to you and still being displeased because it's not what you wanted. Okay. What Spirit really want you guys to understand for this week coming ahead is that you're being protected. Like, if you see in this card, you see that little eye peeking out through the sky, like, that's your spirit, guys. That's your higher self, God, whatever you want to call it, always watching over you and protecting you. And whatever moment that you're in right now, this is where exactly you need to be at. But when you harp on the parts of your life that are more difficult or not exactly what you want it to be, instead of focusing on the good, the positive, you're only going to manifest more negativity out of that situation, and nothing good will come from being negative or being ungrateful, really. Okay. Even like, he's got these four cups here, right? And four is all about stability. It's about being grounded. Okay. And four is the energy of the home. So it's like, when you have the Four of Cups, it just feel like emotionally you feel homeless, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's just not enough. And I feel like that really kind of goes back to what the devil is like. Y'all ever been in a toxic relationship and then you get in a healthy relationship, and sometimes the healthy relationship starts to feel boring, and it's like that relationship's not boring, you're just so fucked up emotionally that you're used to the toxicity. You was somehow getting a rise out of it because that's the only thing you had to hang on to, was those ups and downs and triggers. And now that you actually have a moment of peace, it doesn't feel like what you thought it will feel like. You thought it was going to be sparks flying and all that stuff. And the thing is that sparks are flying. Happiness is growing in your relationship. There's peace, but you're so used to the toxicity and like the emotions that was so unstable that this doesn't feel like enough. So in the words from Friday, make it enough, because what we're not going to do is go back. Is nothing going to come out from that past relationship or whatever it is that you're holding on to, whether it be a job or friends. Let it go. Now, the next card that we have coming out is a full moon in Taurus. Okay. And this says, your dreams need a practical plan. Okay. Taurus is a sign of rest. Okay. And I think that during this week, this is a time where we really are granted to rest, where we're like taking the moment to think about what it is we want, what we don't want, letting ourselves have that moment of grief because we are releasing things from our life. And when you have that moment, when you're exercising, you know, expressing your emotions fully, being present in them, it's like we kind of get lost in the what could be, right? And instead of getting lost in the what could be, it's like be more practical and be more realistic and honest about what's going on in your relationships, okay? And give yourself that space of rest in between trying to figure out getting out of a relationship, getting into a relationship, whether it is romantic or platonic, okay? Clarifying that, we have the Six of Swords, okay? And you can see we have these like crows hanging her up, and she kind of feels like bound, okay? She's trapped between her emotions and between her thoughts, and it feels like a suspended in the air. And sometimes when you can't, it feels like you can't do anything about your emotions. It feels like you can't do anything about your thoughts. Like you feel kind of trapped in a sense. The only thing you can do is just rest, okay? Really leaning into that Taurus and creating a realistic plan of self-care, self-indulgence, nurturing yourself. And I think when they say your dreams need a practical plan, it's like you may be dreaming of a life full of luxury or a life where you don't have to really work. But the truth is, you're not living that life. You're not choosing to live that life. You're not resting in the moments where you could be resting. And honestly, I'm speaking to myself too. So if you say that's your dream life, when are you going to actually put into that practical plan? Seriously, make time for rest. Okay. Now the next card that we have coming out is New Moon in Sagittarius. It says luck is on your side. And then we have the Five of Cups. Now, this energy is constantly just flowing through with this Libra energy of constantly trying to find balance between your thoughts and your emotions and being grateful or being ungrateful, changing up your perspective, seeing things differently, finding the balance in your behaviors, finding the balance in what feels good and what feels bad and what's toxic and what's healthy. With this new moon in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is the energy of the adventure seeking, okay? And sometimes you have to find that adventure in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like how I'm saying, romanticize your life. You have to create those adventurous moments. You have to be willing to seek that out. And the thing about luck is, although sometimes it's like, oh, I'm feeling lucky, but it's like very much something that we choose to be. It's not just like a mindset. It's really a perception and a mind trick. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're tricking our subconscious into thinking that we're more lucky than usual, and then good things start happening to us. And it's actually not because of luck. It's because you believe that good things can happen for you at this moment. And with the Five of Cups, clarifying that, that's like really saying is, which one are you going to choose? I did this reading a while ago, and I don't know if it was a full moon or if it was a new moon, but I had did it on Instagram Live, and I was talking about, you know, imagine yourself being in front of two doors, okay? And one of these doors has all of the good things that you've been waiting for and everything, and this other door is the choice of the bad behaviors and to the negative thinking and the ungratefulness. And it's like, which one are you going to choose? And also understanding consciously every day you have to make that choice. You can be in this energy of the Five of Cups where you have like all this wishful thinking or feeling like, what if, what could have been, wishing things were different. You know what I'm saying? Really giving Cry Me a River vibes. Or you could choose to say, wow, I'm feeling lucky today. And like actually embracing that energy and having a good day and attracting more good into your life. So choosing that. Not to say that there won't be moments where you feel like, oh, this is shitty, or, you know, sometimes you might have a moment where you're feeling regret, but like not staying in that moment for a long time. Using that moment to say, why am I feeling like this? Getting into those feelings, emotions, and then once you get to the depth of that, of why do I feel like regretful? Why do I feel sad in this moment? Then you can, you know, release that to the universe and turn around and say, but I am lucky as fuck today. Like, this happened to me good, that happened to me good. Every light that I went to was green. It's just like deciding and choosing to be lucky. You know what I'm saying? Now, the next card that we have is Full Moon in Aquarius. It says, show the world the real you. Okay, I just really want to show how she's like flowing this bucket, and also she's like literally naked, right? And we're never more than ourselves than we are when we are naked. And it's almost like a thing, you know, being naked is so frowned upon. It's like, because it's like X-rated, right? But imagine that long time ago when people were naked, right? And it was nothing. It meant nothing to not have your clothes off, because that was just the real you. Allow yourself to be naked. Allow yourself to be fully into who you are right now. Like I said earlier into the reading, show the world who you really are, the weird parts of you, the quirky parts of you, the style that you really want to have. Whatever it is, just do it without any fear, without worrying about what other people are going to think or care. What we have clarifying that is the Chariot, okay? The Chariot is all about movement, okay? It's about taking action. And then, of course, we have the black and the white here symbolizing yin and yang, also symbolizing balance, okay? And then even the eagle symbolizing independence. When you are truly independent in yourself, when you say, I just only need me, there's nothing that I need outside of myself. So when I need clarity, who do I go to? Me. When I need to feel more fulfilled, who's going to do that for me? Me. If I need more rest, who's going to give me more rest? Me. It's actively choosing the things, the behaviors, the relationships that are going to support you, and in being the real you, and being the most authentic version of yourself. And one thing that I always say is you have to be where your blessings are. And as long as you're pretending to be somebody else, you are not in alignment with who you really are. And those blessings are going right past you, because you're being all these different versions of somebody that's not you. And you just simply can't receive what's for you when you're not where you're supposed to be. Now, the last card that we have coming out today for reading is New Moon in Scorpio, okay? And this is all about setting the intention of being fearless. It says, work through your fears, okay? Clarifying that, we have the Three of Wands, okay? This is all about communication, period, communication. With these three birds here, this is like a symbol of good luck and fortune and prosperity, right? And one thing that I say to all my clients is the most money that you'll ever make, the most freedom you'll ever experience, the most joy and peace you'll ever have in your life is going to come after you finally work through your fears, overcome them, and start walking in confidence and living in your purpose. And showing the world the real you. That is when you're going to be able to set the intention to be fearless. Once you say, this doesn't scare me anymore, then that's already half the battle. It's like being a little kid and thinking that there's monsters under your bed, or even thinking that Santa Claus is real. Think about how one thing is like actually supposed to be scary, right? The monsters. And then the other thing is Santa Claus. Neither of those things are fucking real. There's no monsters actually under your bed. And there's no white dude coming down your chimney to bring you gifts. But you choose to believe either one. And depending on your perspective, it can make you or break you. So this week, really understand your fears and what it is that's keeping you from moving in alignment with your true self, where you're having that imbalance. Okay. I think specifically a lot of relationships are holding us back. We have fear of being alone. We have fear of not being supported by our friends and families when we do certain things. We have a fear of being disconnected from our past selves. We have a fear of what's next, what's to come. And the only thing that I can do and say to you to really help you through that is to learn how to trust yourself, to build that connection with your higher self, and really just look back and understand that even though you've been through difficult times, probably even more difficult times than you've been right now, there's been times when you were probably more scared right now, and you just pushed forward and kept going because you had no choice, and everything turned out fine. Everything was cool. It was all good in some sense, right? Because you're still here, you're still moving forward, and you just have to trust yourself that your higher self is taking you exactly where you need to go, okay? And even if you have these fears, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to say, yes, I'm afraid of this, and then still go. One of my favorite quotes is be scared and do it anyways. And in your relationship, expressing your fears. If you have abandonment issues and you're scared of being cheated on, you're scared of being left, talk to your partner about that. Even in friendships, if you feel like everybody's trying to come for you, or if you feel like, you're not being supported the way that you need to be supported, communicate that and express that. And then that's when we come back around to those boundaries. If you are choosing to uphold your boundaries or not, and putting yourself into a situation where it's going to be more supportive, where it's going to be more respected, where it's going to be more love and compassion, and just ultimately being where your blessings are, right? I hope that you guys truly enjoyed this message. I'm going to drop the music message in the pinned comments. I will link my podcast down below for you to listen to this week's episode. I will also link my Etsy shop, The Baby Brood, where you can purchase from me. I do handmade greeting cards, and I also sell personalized baby clothes. And of course, you can follow me on all platforms at Karmic Sight Gal. And join me for Meditation Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. See you next week. Peace out.